Kieran Williams, welcome to the Financial Freedom Fast podcast. What is going on, brother?
Matt, what's up, brother? Nice to see you, man. It's been far too long, and thanks for having me, dude.
Hell yeah, man. We connected way back in college, I think it was, right? And it was at this NRF event. I don't even fully remember what this event was. I
As,
just remember it was entrepreneurs like connecting, right? Something like that.
as I recall, I think it was the National Retailers Foundation, and
Oh,
I
right.
think I at least speak from you were also a supply chain guy, right?
Supply chain, right.
Which clearly was the cool place to be. And Rutgers had a couple spots allocated. It was this event in the city. I had no idea what NRF was. I had no interest
Right.
really in being in retail, but it was like something to do, and I applied for it. I think everyone who applied got it. And
Yeah.
then I remember you and I getting put in like the same group. I'm like, this guy's pretty cool. And
Right.
that was actually, I know we had probably kind of classes at some point together, but that was really
Right. Dude, that was the start of it all, man. And who's gonna say no? Like a free weekend in New York, you get to stay at a hotel and eat good food and go to conventions and free travel there, all that stuff, man. So if you're in college right now and you have any of these opportunities that might come up, just take them, man. Go for stuff like that. You can meet guys like Kieran and stay connected over the while and know that one day you're going to reconnect and get things going. But I'm bringing Kieran on today because I have been watching Kieran's journey. I've been watching you kill it, man. And you basically went in, you own a gym, right? Two gyms, the garage gym. I'm correct in saying you're a partner in
Yeah,
like two gyms that are going. What's the story there, man? What do you got going on? Tell us about it.
that's a cool story, man. And I'll give the longer short of it, and try to keep it concise, but also detailed enough. So you and I, we both went to Rutgers. We graduated with supply chain degrees. That was cool. NRF was sick. And when I graduated, at least, I started working at a huge chemical company called BASF. I learned very quickly that wasn't for me. It was very boring. It was very big corporate stuff, which I know a lot of people love. I just found out that it wasn't my jam. But I used, funny enough, my time at that job when I wasn't doing all too much actual work to read books on my computer and listen to podcasts and like look up these online courses. And that provided a wealth of perspective into other stuff that was out there in life. So I grew up, my parents are the best parents in the world. It was like, go to college, get a job, and like you won, like hit the lottery, climb up the ranks, corporate ladder, you name it, right?
Right. And keep
Love
getting
it.
those promotions, man. Just
Keep
push
getting
for that next promotion. And then
yeah,
next year you could get another one.
100%. And again, I get it. My mom is first generation from Scotland. My dad is a killer township employee, and their world was their world. But I was fortunate that I was able to take their world and also learn about like what the heck entrepreneurship is. People being owners of stuff, people having assets, people just doing more stuff that's not just a 9 to 5.
Right.
So very long story short, I ended up moving. I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina for a little bit. And when I moved home, my uncle was a part of this gym called the Garage Gym. I was, dude, I was like, what is this thing? You got to come check it out. And I'm like, my uncle wouldn't steer me wrong. I'm training real hard these days. I was like, let's go give it a go. Through that, I ended up at the original Garage Gym, which was really just my best friend Sam, who's one of my partners now,
Right.
running it out of literally this auto mechanic shop that he transformed into this sick gym in Garwood, New Jersey. And so I went there, I started training. I'm like, dude, this place is fucking. I was like, I've been to LA, I've been to Crunch, I've been to all these other places. Like, you can get your workout in, and you can usually get your workout in. Sometimes we're like wicked crowded and you can't. But like this spot was never overcrowded. It was tricked out. It was blacked out. It was cool vibes. It was really good people. And I was
Right.
literally training like 3 times a day. I was just so enjoying the facility. I was like, dude, I would move. I would live here if I could, man. So I can only imagine Sam at that point in time, not really knowing me all too well, being like, who is this guy? Like, why is he here all the time? And what is he training for? So we ended up becoming training partners. We ended up becoming pretty good friends. And then one day he hit me up basically to be part of the garage gym. Right? So Sam also is the co-founder and leading the charge on Alpha Fit Club, which is a
Right.
group fitness concept that's tearing down New Jersey and about to move its way across the nation. And they're awesome. And with him leading that, he didn't really have the time and resources to give 100% to the garage gym. So he's like, "Hey man, I don't really know if there's anything here, but like we've got like 40 people that like pay a couple bucks a month and they come to this gym. Like maybe there's something,
Right.
maybe there's nothing, but like, do you want to get involved?" And before he even told me that, the story goes, he texted me. He goes, "Yo, I have an idea," and I sent him my signature on like iPhone. I was like, "Whatever it is, man, like I'm in." I was like, "Sign me up." I was like, "This, I just want to have some fun. Let's do it." And then I learned that it was about the garage. I was like, "Dude." So we came up with a valuation. I bought in. That was in Garwood. And then really quickly, with some additional resources, we grew out of that space. We signed the lease to a new one that was 3 times the size in Westfield, New Jersey, down the road. Built that out from January to May of last year. That one's doing very well. We've been able to go from, we've basically been able to close to triple our membership while the same while keeping the same aesthetic and atmosphere that we're looking for.
Wow.
And now we just signed the lease and we're beginning build out on the garage in Little Silver, which will be down in Red Bank,
Wow.
down in Little Silver, Red Bank area. So it's cool, man. I don't know if that's too much, too little, but I'll pause there as far as garage gym goes.
Dude, that is incredible, man. So you have this other facility going on. You're going to keep the one facility, the one that you 3x the size. You're going to keep that going and start another facility elsewhere.
100%. Now it's time to grow, man. So it's really cool, and I feel very fortunate that we're able to do this. And I think part of why we're able to do this is because we're solving a really big problem in the gym space, which
Right.
is a lot of gyms are they have hours. One, right? Like you have to go between a certain time and a certain time. So if I want to wake up super early, if I can't sleep, I want to go at 2 a.m. I can't.
Right.
They're wicked overcrowded. They're not clean. They've got crummy equipment. There's really no sense of community. And you go in, you get your stuff done, equipment and crowdedness willing, and then you go home. And that's cool. But
Right.
what we're up to over here is creating really sick communities and aesthetics of these gym facilities. 24/7, it's never overcrowded, and it's always clean. Right? So you can go in, you know exactly what you're going to get into because you're going to have a squat rack to use, you're going to have a cable machine to take, you're going to be able
Mm.
to use the treadmill. You're not going to have to be waiting for stuff or like working in the sets.
Mm.
Um, and we kind of flip that model on its head. And we've got a lot of really good folks that are willing to make that investment in themselves into a gym facility that brings in a lot of really high quality people that then we can have this awesome community around. And then,
Right.
like I said, man, time to go from Westfield to Little Silver to wherever's next.
Dude, huge, huge growth, man. And you did that all by solving problems. And like, yeah, there's not a lot of good gyms that actually have good equipment with the squat racks and the free weights and dumbbells, whatever you want, actual equipment, except for Planet Fitness that's open 24/7, you know? And that's why I said actual equipment. Like there's actual free bars to use, stuff like that. So, dude, solving problems and solving problems is how we make money. And I do want to dig in a little bit on the business side, but before we get to that, I want to touch on something you said earlier, which was that the W 2 wasn't for you. You knew that right away. How did you know that right away? What was it that was like, this is not me?
So it's interesting, man. And I can even give some more context. Maybe even the short answer is still today, I still work full time. So
Okay.
I'm doing both right now because it serves a purpose and it allows us to grow faster as we go
Right.
ahead. Right. So as far as not being for me, I don't have an exact answer, but once maybe it was supply chain, right? And I just kind of like wrote it all off.
Right.
But I think as far as a W-2 goes, I have no quarrels or reservations about learning from whomever, right? So I think
Mm.
if you can get a job that you enjoy and you can learn a ton, take it. Like that's awesome, dude. Like for me, the biggest thing right now is learning in fields that I have an interest in. So right now
Right.
that's building gyms and building communities and building a brand. And I'm
Right.
fortunate to have kind of stumbled into like owning a gym. But if I didn't, right, like, dude, get a job at somewhere that you find compelling that pays you money to learn, right?
Right.
And then trend into whatever that next step is like, right? So as much I'll sometimes like jokingly rag on like 9 to 5 wasn't for me, or
Right.
like big corporations maybe weren't for me just because
Mm.
I like to be creative and like to be autonomous and I don't like jumping through hoops to get approval for something that I could have done
Mm.
in 2 minutes.
Right.
But like if you have the opportunity to get paid to learn something that you're even remotely interested in, like that's a pretty good deal,
Mm.
right? Like
Mm.
I'm 26, figuring out a lot of this as I go along. I feel spoiled to have the people that I'm surrounded with to bounce
Mm.
ideas off of, to connect with, and to learn day in and day out.
Right.
So would never want to rag on like the W-2 side of things because like A, I still work full time,
Yeah.
and B, if what you're interested in is something that you can't like, I want to own a gym. Like,
Right.
get a job in something that you find cool. Like, get paid to learn.
Mm.
One of the best case scenarios in my opinion.
Get paid to get skills. And one thing that you also said with your original job, at least, that I did the same exact thing. And honestly, I encourage people to do this if you can find the free time, not get caught, not get fired at your job, whatever it may be. But if there's something else you know you're interested in, and maybe your job isn't it, and your job right now is literally just to pay the bills, like Kieran said, he used free time that he might have had at that job to read books, listen, do courses, listen to podcasts, do all that stuff to learn while you're getting paid. I think that is a really, really great technique to still get paid, to still feel safe, but to also be learning and growing in different areas of your life, man. So the business, you 3x membership. Have you taken that for like a new business valuation? Have you 3x the value of this business now? Like, what does that look like?
So, I mean, we keep it very close to home, right? So there's no employees. It's me
Right.
and like basically my best friends who do it. So until we get to the day where like we look to sell and present it to a big corp to buy or whatever that looks like, we're not too like what's our valuation and what do we need to
Yeah.
like. I think it's good to have that, but for me in my role, as we've divvied up as basically operating officer, the most important thing I do is make sure that the facility day to day is providing the experience we want our members to have, right? So
Mm,
the valuation is cool, and I'm sure we could talk numbers all day long, but like
right.
the most important thing for us is providing immense value for folks who pay $200 a month for a gym,
Wow.
exceeding again like no like $200 a month for a gym is not is no joke to, no matter who you speak to, right?
Right.
So our responsibility there is let's make this gym the value way exceed $200 a month, right? And we have this saying um, at the garage that it's more than a gym, right? And if you were to look at that objectively, and if you were to ask me 2 years ago, like it's more than a gym, like dude, that's cheesy, man. I want to go work out. I can do push-ups in my house and then go
Hmm.
right outside. Why do I need a gym that's $200
Right.
a month? A on the actual problem-solving side, for folks who can afford $200 a month and are willing to make that investment in themselves, it's a no-brainer. The facility is
Right.
awesome. The equipment is great. It's clean. You name it. But I always say more than anything, man, the people at the garage gym are just some of the best people I've ever met. And on every single tour, right? So in order to join the garage gym, you can't just sign up. You have to connect with me and we have to meet in person at the facility to walk through, make sure it's a fit for what you're looking for, make sure you're a fit for the community of people that we're looking to establish, and then
Mm,
you can opt in, right?
mm,
We almost have this vetting process of bringing in the right people, which A allows us to not have staff, and then B more than anything just has this group of folks who are getting after it in the gym, and if they are getting after it in the gym and willing to pay $200 a month for that investment in themselves, they're probably doing some cool stuff outside of the gym too, right?
right.
Like we've gotten like these funny. That's like like the country club of gyms, or it's there's another name I'm drawing a blank on, but it's way more than a gym, and that the people there, if you would like, become friends. They start doing
Mm,
lunches, they start doing coffees. Me and Sam were training partners, and now we're business partners, right?
right,
So that ecosystem of people that get the chance to train in a nice facility, and have the opportunity to connect with other like-minded individuals in a lot of ways,
right,
has really blossomed into something special. As far as we have annual events where we rent out a brewery and we just invite the whole gym, everything's comped, give stuff away, tons of pizza, free
right.
booze, have a party. We're just starting garage gym seminars where we are bringing in industry professionals to teach certain things specific to running form or nutrition or
Mm.
cold exposure, stuff like that, right? So, like, if we were just a gym, I'm sure we do very well. But again, I think driven largely in part, if not only in part, and what I feel very fortunate that me and my partners on the same page about is that the member experience is the most important thing in the world. So if we can
Uh,
piece that day in and day out, like, we're gonna go up and to the right.
Dude, that is so powerful, man, because a lot of people would say, no, this is a business. You need to focus on the numbers. You need to take your members, multiply it by the dollars per member you're going to get every month. You need to 3x, 10x your members so you can increase the value, pull out that money, go buy another business, start making more and more. But you could just say, I don't give a shit about the numbers. I care about creating an experience, building a community. And if there's a community of people and other people come in and they are a fit with that community, those relationships will pull them into that community just like that. And your membership will grow and grow and grow. What's go ahead. It looks like you're
Also,
gonna say
I
something.
mean, 100%. And I don't mean to say that as if I'm like, yeah, dude, like, we don't even look at the P&L. Like, it is gonna, like, it's gonna be like, numbers are very important, but it's not
Right.
the end all be all, right? And I know we both share that. It's just
Right.
like they're not the end all be all, right? So, and it's
Yeah.
also tricky because, like, at the end of the day, with our emphasis on this community and people first, right? Like, does that sometimes maybe throw, like, not, I don't know if riffs is the right word,
Mm.
but there's plenty of time. I think one of the best examples is if one of our folks, like, they lose their job or they run into some tough times, like, whatever, like, they can't afford the gym anymore. I'm like, dude,
Right.
keep coming. I was like, we are not here. You all of a sudden you're in a bad spot. See you later. We got to make, like, no way.
Right.
Due to the fact that we are looking to be as close knit as we are, man, like, that's what we're up to. Like,
Mm.
extending help where we can, right? So for folks who maybe hit a rough patch or lose a job or maybe they lose a loved one, like, taking care of them, right? Because on the people side, like, that's more of what I mean. Like, numbers are super important. And, like, you need to make more money than you spend, no doubt. But
Right.
it's like it's way more than that. And I know we share that thread, but it is definitely important to look at the numbers.
No, I appreciate the clarification. I didn't mean to, fully throw the numbers out of the door because I mean, if it's not making a business, you can't provide this community. You can't.
Exactly.
It,
You can't
if
fuel that experience that you want, right? 100%.
right, right, and that's how it rocks, man. So 26 years old, dude, and you're a partner in this gym. When he Sam, I think his name is, when he approached you, were you 24, 25,
24, I think.
24? Was there any it seemed like you were like, "No, I'm good. I'm going at this." Like, did you have to bring capital to the table? Were you just a management partner? You're going to put in a bunch of time and effort. Like, how did that structure? How did you get yourself into the business?
Good question, man. And then maybe even some more context leading into the answer there. Um, I'm a big fan of preparing for opportunities that aren't necessarily visible, right? So I think
Mm,
especially in your world, right, with real estate, like, you need money. Like,
right.
you can't. I mean, I don't know anything about real estate, and I hear things about, like, $0 down, first time homeowner stuff, and I'm sure that stuff is great.
It's
But
out
you,
there.
you also need money, right? Like,
Right.
like, no question about it. You need
Right.
to do a lot of this stuff. So for me, always knowing that, and always knowing that, like, hey, maybe this job isn't for me. But when an opportunity comes about, like I want to be prepared to do something.
Right.
So I lived in Rye for a little bit, and then when I moved home on. Like mom and dad home.
Right.
Love them to death. They're the best. There's no rent. I'm fortunate rather that I don't pay rent when I live at home, right? So
Right.
automatically that was say all in living expenses in Raleigh way cheaper than New Jersey. Like $1,500 a month at the time. Um, yeah, cheap compared to New Jersey. All of a sudden, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, I'm not spending $1,500 a month. But I'm also living home and I'm choosing, like, I'm not doing Hoboken. I'm not going out and drinking on the weekends. I'm not taking a trip. I'm not doing this. I'm dead set focused on training my body. I've always been very competitive, racing, training, competing, all that stuff.
Right.
And like literally living like a monk. I was like, I want to set myself up to do something when the opportunity comes about. You need money to do that. And I'm also fortunate that I don't really have the interest in like regularly going out to dinner or regularly going out to this, that, the other.
Right.
Nothing wrong with it at all. I love doing it. Just for me, knowing the things that I wanted to accomplish inside of my 20s
Mm.
and knowing that I needed money, I would rather just allocate money to an opportunity.
Right.
So, with that said, basically, Sam, I remember I was stretching on the basement of my floor, and he texted me, "Yo, I have an idea." I sent him my signature. Sam is way too nice, and he originally said, "Come in 50-50, no buy-in, and let's just do it together." I was like, "Dude, kick rocks, man. I'm not gonna take half of your business and not
Right.
contribute anything. A, for your sake, like, thank you, that means the world. But B, that for, if anything, maybe even more so, I think in hindsight, like for me, it was having skin in the game. Like, that
Yeah.
wouldn't mean as much to me if I contributed nothing, or would it? I think if anything, I love the garage. Like, I wanted to be invested in the garage because I loved it so much. So at that point in time, we came up with a valuation, and I basically dumped my bank account into the garage gym, and it was all, like no questions asked, man. And it was funny, and maybe this is maybe this is something for folks to listen to. I think there's a lot to be said about intuition.
Mm.
There's also a lot to be said about being silly and maybe ignorant, depending on who you ask. But for me, I still love, and I just love the garage gym. Man, we did not
Mm.
talk numbers. We didn't talk membership. We didn't talk overhead. We didn't talk insurance. I didn't know what any of that looked like. I was like, dude, sign me up. I was like, we'll figure the rest out. I was like, I just fucking love it so much. And that was literally it, man. We bought in, formalized the Garage Gym LLC, and then started hoofing it.
Dude,
I laugh when I say it because like my, it's comical, but I no question, I loved it.
and I mean that's intuition, man. You knew that there was something that you wanted to get into, and albeit you did not have to originally put money down. He wasn't even asking for it, but you honestly, it made you want to have skin in the game. You want to be driven by something also, if you don't have a intense love like you had for this place, but it seemed like you were already driven. The most important thing there, though, two things: you practice value-based spending, right? So you were saving money knowing that one day at some point there's going to be an opportunity where I'm going to need capital, and I want to have that capital if that opportunity comes up. So you were spending on money on things like the gym and maybe races and training and healthy food, stuff that you actually
Literally
care about.
it.
You know, that's
Oh
literally
yeah,
it. And like people are like, you don't have to spend 4 grand a month. You don't have to spend 5 grand a month. Like you can spend, even in New Jersey, like my housing is free because my house pays for itself. And outside of that, I spend around $3,200 a month. Like I don't live an expensive lifestyle, and that allows me to, have the freedom to go do other things. So then, like, you saved that money, you did that value based spending technique, and you had the capital, you had the opportunity, it came up, and you got involved, man. Was there any doubt in your mind? Were you ever scared to put that money in? Was there anything that was like, maybe I shouldn't do this? Or was it just like, I got this, man. This is it.
It is literally like go to Google, like how do I wire my friend money? And it's funny, and I say that again, like not to intentionally sound silly who I am, but like again, like for me, like it was just a no brainer. Like I felt so strongly, and I still do, about the garage gym and about the people that it was. That I felt really good about it working. I didn't know what it was going to look like. It's kind of like this is like the finish line of like I just know it's going to do well. I don't know what that means, and I don't know what any of the in between looks like. But
Right,
I just want to do it. So there was that side, and then I think the other side for me was like I never had an interest in getting an MBA. I didn't. I love learning and I love doing stuff. MBA for me, going back to school, I just never really piqued my interest.
yeah.
And I thought to myself, I was like, with this cash, I would pay for an MBA. I was like, this is
Mm,
my. I forget who I was. It Tim Ferriss? I think talked about like I think it was Tim Ferriss talked about like the real life or the real world MBA, whereas basically like
right,
he had an opportunity either to go back to school or invest in himself and learn. And I was like, dude, this like invest in myself and learn, double down every single day of the week. Like I would rather put that money into myself and learn along the way. And I remember
right,
talking to my parents about it and be like, listen, like worst case scenario, the garage gym crashes and burns. Like I don't know when that would be, if and whenever. I mean, I don't plan on it being. I hope it's not. But
right,
like, God forbid it does, man. Like this money that I'm putting in, I would 1,000% call that an amazing investment because of all of the things that I've learned, all of the people that I've met, all of the things that I now know. This is my real world MBA. So, to short answer, like not one reservation.
right. And if you don't mind sharing, how much did you have to bring to the table for that?
So at that point in time, it was 50 grand.
And that's a big chunk of change to drop down on the table,
At
man.
24, man, I remember it being like, how do I even have this? Like again, like
Dude,
don't spend my money on stupid shit. Like living at home. And I'm fortunate. I know not everyone can live at home or has the opportunity to do
right,
so, but for me, it was almost about like exhausting all the opportunities I had to set myself up, put myself in a
right.
position to do something when the opportunity came. The opportunity came, and I'm gonna be like, cool, like let's do this.
Dude,
Like this is
and
literally what
that's
I'm doing.
you're young, and I made a podcast about this, but like when you're young, you have this opportunity to just take these risks because hopefully, and maybe some don't, maybe you have a friend, a family member, you could stay at their place. And like, if all else crashes and burns after you take this big risk, like, and you're working a job right now, let's say you quit your job and went all in on something else. Worst case scenario is you crash and burn, you sleep at your family's house, and you go back to working the
I get
same
a
job that you
job. Literally.
you are literally you're living in your worst case scenario right now, you know? So like take take risks. And dude, what has this created for your life since you took this risk? Like how has your life changed?
So it's funny, man. I feel like every day in my life changed a little bit. As far as like again, most importantly, the people that I get to surround myself on a daily basis
Hmm.
um, is just the best thing in the world. As far as like my immediate partners and my immediate ecosystem of we're doing the garage gym. It's Sam. It's our general contractor. It's our architect. It's landlords. It's people now
Right.
on Instagram. Like social media is huge, but it's also a really small world. Right? Like we got the connection. And it's really cool from a people perspective how do I want to say this? Like maybe it's owning assets or maybe it's owning a gym specifically, but you have a little bit more leverage as far as like who you can connect with and what you can do. Right? Like
Mm.
the best networking for me, come work out. Like let's just hang out at the gym. We'll get food in town. We'll get salad house. We'll get acai bowl. We'll get a smoothie. We'll get like
Right.
that's how I find the people closest to me. Which I mean, could I do as a member? Sure, but now like having a say in what goes down, like the best thing in the world. And then I'm probably parlaying off of that is again just the friendships that I've been able to make, man. Like every single member comes on the tour with me. I
Mm.
know husband and wife's names. I know kids' names. I know what soccer team they're playing on. I like it is for someone. who is so one of the things I've learned over the years is really committing to the relationships that I have with people. It
Mm,
means the world to me. And going down a rabbit hole for a sec, like you talk to any older individual or you read books on people with regret and stuff like that.
right.
And a common theme was like prioritizing the relationships that you have with people. Anything that
Yeah.
you do, I have found to be better when you do it with people that you love. Right. So if I
Right.
can, I'm very passionate about health, fitness, and wellness. Right. So owning a gym is super on brand. Right. I get to work out all the time. And then not
Right.
only do I get to work out all the time, I get to work out all the time with some of my best friends. And then
Yeah.
also introduce new people who have not really, maybe they're looking to get fit, which is awesome. But there's so many cool races and events going on where like our gym specifically has a lot of equipment pertinent to this race series called High Rocks.
Mm,
It's running, it's strength, it's endurance. I won't bore you with the actual detail itself. I would recommend everyone go check it out because it's an awesome event. But the amount of people, man, that have come into the garage, maybe they're a mom with kids and they're just looking to stay fit. Maybe they've been a power lifter and fucking hate running, you name it. Who like literally 2 weekends ago flew to Chicago to race High Rocks, something they thought they would never ever do in their whole life. And then they finished like, dude, I just did something I never thought I would do. Right? Like
right.
if you could bottle that up, man, awesome. Awesome.
That's that's big, man. And yeah, you, dude, you like three things there, right? That I just want to hit on. One, you get to work out. I mean, you get to work out for free too. That's like one
Yeah.
of your only monthly costs. It's like in real estate, we have something called a house hack where you buy a 4 unit, you live in one unit, you rent out the other three, you get to live for free, dude. Your house hack, your business, your gym
I'm
hacking
gym
right
hacking.
now. And you touched on relationships being important to you, man. I actually have this book right in front of me. It's called Ikigai, and it's about some of the longest living people in the world. They come from blue zones where I think like 8% of the 5 to 7% of the population is 100 years old or older, and they all of every single one is like the thing that's kept me alive is my relationships, seeing people, drinking tea with them, going out, keeping you young and keeping you alive. The last thing I want to hit on that you said there is meetings at the gym, man. When I meet with people, like a lot of people want to go and grab like let's go grab a beer, that's not how I like to do business. I bring people to the gym too. I take them to the gym, man. I think that's a great setup that you have there, bro. And I definitely we got to get a workout in
I get you
together,
in,
man.
man.
How many members do you have at your current location?
Right now we're at about 150. And
Wow.
which is like literally, man. In Garwood, I think we had 60. I want to say at one point.
Wow.
At one point, we were. I remember. I'll never forget the first time we actually sat down and like ran the numbers. It was like me like piecing stuff together. The first month of the LLC, or maybe it was the month immediately prior, like the business lost $1,000. So take
Wow.
that literally in October of 2022. No, October of 2021. 2022 was Westfield. 2023. Um, under 2 years ago, year and a half, something like that. Um, to lose money, to in such a short window have the capital and the business to say, yeah, we could build another one. Awesome, right? So even that alone, like, gives us the runway of like we're like something's working here, right? And every time we post at the Westfield, people in Northern Jersey do like, when are you coming up here? People in South Jersey, when are you coming up here? I have friends in North Carolina. My buddy just traveled to Texas. He's like, dude, like we need one of these in Plano. I'm like, dude, what's in
Dude.
Plano? I've never even been, but 100%, right?
Right.
So that's where we live today, and how we actually structure the memberships is we limit it to 200 tops. So the
Mm,
biggest headache, back to maybe the first point that we found with a lot of spaces, is that they're overcrowded. Right? I come in with a game plan of what I want to do. I want to squat, but you go to say like an LA equivalent, and any LA
right.
equivalent I've been to has like two squat racks hopefully one of them works, and like 1,000+ members. Right. So if I go
Right.
on no, Monday is chest day, when it's like international leg day, whenever the normal day
Right.
to do legs is, everyone seems to be doing legs. Like you're probably not doing legs.
Right.
Everyone's gonna
Right.
want to be using that one rack, right? So
Yeah.
for us, it's limiting the number of people that we take in so
Mm.
that the facility is never overcrowded.
Dude, I love that. And that just sticks to like really what you're trying to do there, man. You're trying to create a good community. You're trying to make it so people can work out whenever they want and actually go and work out. They have good equipment and it's not overcrowded, dude. I love the model. I love what you guys are building, man. I'm going to jump onto some last questions here, man. I think your story is really inspiring to anyone who has an opportunity in their life, especially right now. Even if you're like, no, I'm too young. I can't go do this. Man, he's 24 when he got this opportunity, and Kieran was able to jump in and double the membership. What did you do to double that membership? What was the focus there?
Honestly, man, it was really just bandwidth. It was Sam was already very busy, focusing primarily on Alpha Fit Club, and now with Kieran, with just some additional collaborative resources and the ability, because again, like one of the most important things we do is every single person has to come on for a tour. You can't just sign up, and it's not
Yeah.
like some bullshit like sales and marketing hack. It's like you literally have to meet me, for better or for worse. Like you have to come into the gym before you pay any money. There's no charge for the tour, but like we have to meet. Like we have to make sure this is a good fit, because if we just let anyone sign up, top line would probably be sick, but like we would lose out on a that vetting experience of bringing the right people in, and then b the community of people that we're bringing in, because that vetting
Right.
experience of, and I say to almost every single person that comes in for a tour, I'm like, I think it says a lot about an individual that comes in for a tour for a gym. Like, had you told
Yeah.
me 3 years ago when I wanted to join a gym, like, hey man, you got to come in for a tour. We want to meet you in the facility. Like, dude, what? I just want to go work. Like, dude, and I would probably back then lose interest, right? Because I wasn't a good fit. So
Right.
this allows us to bring in the right people. Um, what was it? I went on a little rant there. What was the actual question?
No, I mean we were just talking about how you doubled
Right.
that growth, man, and it's by I mean you created that
Resources.
community, and like that's a good way to like you want to be part of this gym community. You've got to come meet me. We've got to see that there is a good fit here. I want it to be a good fit for you before you put any dollars on this table right now to join this gym. You need to come meet me, see the place, and say, yeah, this is a place that I want to be at.
And also on the flip, like the number of conversations where we've both agreed, like this probably isn't the best fit. Like if you're looking for group fitness training, the garage is the worst group fitness training in the world, because we don't do it, right? Or if you're looking
Right.
for certain pieces of equipment or just certain things that we don't have, like my responsibility is not to like chokehold you into the garage is the best for everyone, because it's not, right? Like I think any part of
Right.
successful business is finding the people that it adds value to, adds massive value to, and working with them. Right? So the amount of folks that have come in and be like, yeah, I'm looking for this, that, the other. I'm like, you should probably check out Alpha Fit Club. Like you should probably check out CrossFit Co. Or you should probably check out this, that, the other, just because
Right.
they do different things well that we don't do. Right. So if you're
Right.
looking for that, I want you to have an awesome gym experience. You probably wouldn't have that here because it's different.
Right. Dude, I love it, man. I love the way that you're looking at business. It's a wholesome way. It's the right way to build a business, man. I love that. What is one actual these are our final questions. I want one more there. What is one actionable step our listeners should take today to start on their path towards financial freedom, building a business, starting a business, whatever it may be?
It's a good question, man. I think maybe even back to high level, right? Like I joke, not really joke, that I don't know anything. Like I'm still 26. When I started, I was 24. I've learned a
Right.
lot in 2 years. But you should, if you want advice on business, you should look to other people. Like, I will help as I can, Like I am not the end all be all. Like I'm doing a lot of stuff right. I'm doing probably a lot of stuff wrong, and I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
So as far as starting a business and looking to be successful, um, I think that starts probably not maybe not the answer you're looking for, but I think that starts internally. So for me,
Mm,
one of the things that I have done largely through fitness has been like learning about Kieran Williams. Like, what do
mm,
I want to do? Even more like mental training of like what are things that bother me? What are things that make me uncomfortable? What are things that I don't like and why don't I like them? And
mm,
and figuring out internally like who the heck Kieran Williams is because I'm not going to be a good business partner. I'm not going to be a good boyfriend. I'm not going to be a good anything if I'm not squared up internally.
mm,
Right. And I'm still working on that every day. So I think that the actual answer, as it has worked for me, has been exercise. Like exercise
mm.
is is one of the greatest things that I has happened to me, we'll call it. I grew up playing sports. I was always very competitive. And then after college, I read a book about this dude who ran 100 miles, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "People do that shit." And then I was just hooked on running 100 miles. Like,
Dude, didn't you do it?
yeah. So I mean, now I love doing it, but there was a point in time where I couldn't do it.
You ran 100 miles.
Yeah. So it's called like ultra running, right? So it's
Right,
distances over a marathon. You think 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles.
right.
The longer short of that story, I read this book. I was like, dude, I'm running 100 miles, which was hilarious because I was in a frat and playing club soccer at the time and was not in 100 mile shape. But just started running, dude. Like I signed up for half marathon. I was running like 3 days a week on a treadmill at like College Ave Gym, I think, at Rutgers campus. Um, I signed up for a 50-mile race in the mountains. Talk about no idea what I was doing, man. I wore like Hoka road running shoes, but you don't wear on trails. I didn't eat any food over the course of 12 hours. I finished, but I lost 10 pounds. Started for a different day. But I just kept like chipping away, man. Like I was like 100 miles, 100 miles. That's all I wanted to do. And it took me 4 tries, but I finally ran 100 miles. And then I had done it several times since, just because once you have it in your back pocket, like I know I can do it. So maybe coming back to the actual question, that stuff has presented an opportunity for me to learn a lot about myself. Like when you
Mm,
are absent of a lot of what are now not very big deal. Like I think, how do I want to say this? Like it puts life in perspective. Like when I'm running whatever distance, and maybe I'm cold or I'm hungry and I want a nap or whatever it is, all of a sudden, like maybe an extreme example, but like the coffee that I ordered this morning that was wrong isn't that big of a deal
right.
anymore. But like maybe that was like, oh my god, how could they like? But that stuff has put life in perspective in a lot of ways, as far as like what's important, what's difficult, and has just provided me a platform to learn about myself. So I think as far as steps to achieving success, whatever that looks like, steps to starting a business, whatever that looks like, is going to be different for everyone. I think you got to figure yourself out before you're ever a good insert person.
Right.
And that for me has been fitness. So for me, every day I'm exercising at least once. It's ingrained in my soul. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I think it helps to teach people a lot of things, as well as just like feels really good.
Dude, and you started that off by saying, I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for. One, I'm never looking for an answer, but that's probably one of the best answers I've gotten, man. Like, you can't, if you don't know yourself and know what you like to do and know how you react to things and know what makes you feel good and what makes you feel bad, then how are you going to, if you don't know yourself and you can't be your best self with yourself, how are you going to be your best self for someone else? How are you going to be your best self for your business? How are you going to be your best self in life if you don't know yourself? So I honestly think that that is an incredible answer. Fitness can act as a common string. Even me in Paris right now, I'm working out every day. I'm doing yoga every day. I'm going to the gym every day. It's a common string that I can carry with me from the United States to Paris to Puerto Rico to wherever I am at in my life. That can be my common string. That is Matt Amabile, that Matt Amabile likes to do and keeps them grounded, man. That's why I'm in my tank top
100%.
right now.
100%. And if I could just last bit on that piece too, a piece of
Yeah,
advice, even now, maybe like networking is super important. We don't have to dive into the importance of that right now, but it's super important. Um, Someone told me a while ago that the most successful, I always quote successful because it's different for everyone, but the most successful people are usually pretty fit. So when you go to gyms, you go to yoga, and you go to fruit shop after class or whatever that looks like, when you're doing stuff in the fitness, health, and wellness world, they're usually also doing something else. And that's your
right.
opportunity to say, hey man, or hi, Mrs. Like what do you do? And it's
Yeah,
an immediate, to your point there, common thread of, oh, like we do yoga together, or like we run every morning, or like whatever it looks like. It's an amazing way to meet amazing people.
that's true, man. That's true. Last question I've got here for you, man. What's one question that you wish I would have asked, or a topic that you wish I would have covered? And how would you have answered that question, or how would you have expanded on that topic?
It's a good question. One question that I wished you asked me. I don't know, dude. That was really good. Like I didn't have any expectations coming into this, and I'm really happy. Like you didn't
Yeah.
set an agenda. Like here's what we're gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna ask you. I love doing that
Right.
stuff as well, but like the free form stuff is brilliant. Um, I don't know, man. I think maybe the most important thing, and I'm sure you were probably getting to this, is like where can people reach you? Like if there's like literally
Right.
anything under the sun that I can help anyone with, like reach out.
Mhm.
I don't know what that would
Right.
look like, um, but A, reach out, and then B, maybe I'll flip that question as far as maybe one of my favorite questions, which was that last one. Like, what's one thing that people can do to just take a step
Right.
in the right direction? Because fitness and health is something that I take super super seriously, and I would love more people to. And I speak from my experience in the profound impact that it has had on my life, on the lives of others, and now being fortunate enough to own a gym and like manage now 150 people who use it. Like seeing from the outside looking in, like one of my now really good friends, Melissa. She is, I don't know how old she is, and I'm not going to butcher it, but she's awesome. And but she's married, she has 2 kids, busy life. And I remember she first came to the gym, like just wanting a gym. Like most people, just like I just want to like kind of get back to it. Awesome.
Right.
And like maybe she had run over the years. She was probably pretty fit. I remember us talking. She either played soccer or lacrosse. And she was one of the ladies who flew out to Chicago to do high rocks. Had you asked Melissa a year ago what high rocks was, she'd be like, "What?" And now she had just done this really tough physical competition. And even
Right.
just the way that she speaks on behalf of like meeting new friends and doing things she thought she'd never do, like that all stemmed from joining a gym, being fit, wanting to get healthy, even if it's just a 20-minute walk a day. So maybe
Right.
maybe I won't say a question you must ask. I'll thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, well, I think you hit on two things there. One is just take the step. Take the step forward. Take one small step, and then that can lead to bigger things and go and lead to running high rocks and doing big races, whatever it may be. But then also is the networking aspect is, reach out, touch base with people that you want to talk to. And yeah, man, you did. You hit my last question is, where can my listeners find you? Where could they reach out to you?
100%, man. Um, Instagram is Kieran W1231. And then feel free to share my email, man. ktwilliams9@gmail.com. Questions about gym, about life, about fitness, about anything, man. Like literally, I am fortunate to do what I do today because people were kind enough to help me with my silly questions at times. If you think it's silly, if you think it's great, whatever you think it is, shoot it over. I'm pleased to help in any capacity I can.
Love it, man. Love it, bro. Hey, well, from the Financial Freedom Fast podcast, Kieran Williams, we thank you, man. The Garage Gym, bound for success, brother. Man, we had a good conversation today. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, brother, for having me.